Hello?
This is Stratton. How are you?
Hey, Stratty, how's it going?
Pretty good.
I can't help but call you Stratty, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Does it bother you?
No, I force all new people to call me Abstratius, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, I just can't help it after all those years, you know what I mean?
It's okay.
And I don't see you that much either, so that probably doesn't help. I don't hear other people call it to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's up?
I don't know, I told you I'd call you back.
Yeah?
This is my Google Voice number.
What?
This is my Google Voice number.
Okay, I'll save it.
Okay.
Now that you've called me, I have it, right?
Yep.
What's that noise in the background?
Is there a noise?
Yeah.
It's digital, so it's I can dial it again.
Yeah, I think I might get. I'm hearing like feedback.
Here, I'll do
You
it.
call it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Oh, this. Speakers.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Is it gone now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. After I talk, I hear like an echo. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'll dial it again.
Hello?
Okay. Any better?
All right. Yeah. All right, I guess I'll take a break. I'll take a beer break. I'm cleaning my son's room. Oh, my God. I'm telling you. They put you in poverty, and they make you a slave.
Yeah.
Until they get older, maybe.
Well, they've all been through my apartment just in the last couple of days, so the place is frighteningly clean here.
Really? I know, I can't stand it. You should see. I mean, the shit that I found. It was so gross. And then
Food?
Anthony got mad because I found things that I probably shouldn't have for a teenager. And I said, I gave you a week to clean your room.
But did you find food?
I don't want to go in your room. Huh?
Food?
I found things that, typical teenagers, you know what I mean?
Huh.
And it's like, if you don't want me to look through your stuff, then you should have cleaned your room. And I'm not a nosy person. I'm not a nosy mom. Because my mom was always very nosy looking at my stuff.
Yeah.
And I always swore that I wouldn't be like that,
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm cleaning, I'm not being nosy. I'm being efficient.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses because I'm really not a nosy mom. I probably should be nosier than I am. But you know what? You don't need to know everything that your kid does. I'm a firm believer in that.
Well, I apply the Byzantine system, which is, I would want to do many of these things, but it's like writing a blank check for them to come do it to me.
Yeah, you're lucky. You lucky schmuck, you.
Yeah.
So they cleaned out your apartment, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there were some residents behind it, though.
What?
I'm sure there was some reverberation from it.
Not really.
No?
They just didn't like how dirty it was.
Yeah. So who came and cleaned it? Your parents bought something, so had someone come in, pay something?
My mother and some cleaning lady.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she complaining the whole time like I am?
Yeah.
That's a woman's way of venting.
Great.
You know that, right? Hmm?
Yeah. I guess.
It is. It's true.
And then she threw away half of everything I ever liked, so she went and got new stuff.
Well, that's good. As long as she replaces it, I'll replace it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother you, huh? To have it dirty?
Right. I do miss the big giant spoon.
The big giant spoon?
Yeah.
What the hell is that for?
For cooking.
Oh, was it disgusting?
No, it was clean. She just didn't like it.
She get you a new one?
Mm-hmm. Well, a different one.
Do you cook?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you cook?
Spaghetti and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, basics.
Mm-hmm.
No lamb? No shish kebab?
No, I don't put the spit out here in the apartment.
Yeah.
It's hard to, do the full roasting here.
You got a little kitchen, I guess, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you probably don't have to. All you have to do is go to your mom's, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't really go there for food. She's not really into cooking anymore.
She's not?
No.
Well, I guess after all those years, I can't blame her.
I think she's preparing for a Spanish Inquisition, because all she makes is chainmail.
She makes what?
Chainmail?
What the hell's that?
Well, like the, you ever seen, like, Monty Python, the Holy Grail? They had that...
Chainmail? Are you saying chainmail?
Chainmail.
Like you
like you would have going across your face in strips of metal. I guess you wear them as jewelry now. But it's called chainmail. I mean, if she were making an Iron Maiden in the basement, I wouldn't be surprised.
Scotty, that's one thing I have to admit. When I talk to you, you make me laugh.
I mean, it's literally true, and she has no idea that all the other women who do this are 19 and wear caftans and listen to the Grateful Dead.
Uh-huh.
And so she's into all this, and she's very confused by the online presentation of this stuff, but she gets it anyway, and she twists metal and stuff. It's very complicated.
How could you do that with your hand?
That's another question that I have.
I thought she was having issues with her arthritis in her hand.
Yeah, but somehow that doesn't keep her from doing it.
It's therapy. She's very creative.
Yeah, she used to do arts and crafts, and then she stopped. Now she's doing arts and crafts again. But this is all metal arts and crafts.
That's kind of cool, really. But
yeah.
she's giving it to like the we call them like the Gothic kids, right? The Gothic people.
Well, I guess then they'll go fight the Normans or something. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what you do with chainmail.
Does she sell it?
Yeah.
How does she sell it? She go to shows?
There's that Etsy thing online.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Etsy's like a marketplace.
Well, I give her credit, She's still involved doing things. She always liked doing this stuff.
Well, what it did for her was she had hit a wall on the computer. We put her on the computer, and she got it to a certain extent, and then she hit a wall. And it was Mac, and she did really well. And then she got into this metalworking thing, and then she started researching things on the internet. Now she's completely understands the computer, which is really shocking.
All because of Strat, huh?
Well, I think we really credit the metalworking because it was a reason to look stuff up.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, that pushed her the other end of the way.
Good. I wish I could get my mom on it, but no way.
Well, the real thing that helped was that I can see the screen. So she would call and get stuck, and that's where people get really confused. They get stuck, and then they can't go to the next thing, and then they panic and quit. So she calls right away when she has a panic attack, which can be 7 to 15 times a day.
You're spoiling her.
And then I can see the screen, and I can fix it right at that moment.
So you know everything what she's doing, basically, huh?
Well, no, I don't watch normally. I mean, she'll call, and then she wants me to go look right then and see what it is. Well, no, again, back to Byzantine system. If I sat there and watched everybody's screen all the time, I mean, if I got my jollies doing that, I would be writing a blank check for them to do it to me. I don't look at anybody's personal files. I mean, I have tremendous access. That's how you get tremendous access, is you don't screw anybody over.
These kids at the high school, they want First Robotics. Have you ever heard of that?
They have what?
First Robotics is a club.
Personal Robotics?
What is it? Robotics.
Oh, First Robotics.
Yeah.
Huh.
And, of course, they're into electronics and computers and stuff. So at night, they were working, and these kids got into the school systems account.
Yeah.
And what part did they get into? The financial part. The superintendent covered it up.
Well, that's great. I'm really disappointed in these kids. They all have keystroke monitors, and they're being watched, all this stuff, and they know about it, and they don't break out of it. I don't get it.
And that, you know what was the sad part? You know who got burnt by it all? The teacher. The advisor.
The teacher's really bad?
They canned the teacher for it.
Oh, really? Because the kids broke in?
Yeah. Someone has to be a scapegoat, right?
That's not fair.
I know. I was going to do it. I'm glad I did it.
That's not right.
No, but there's a lot of things that aren't right. You know
Right.
that. Life is filled with injustices.
There was that kid who broke in from England to the Pentagon, and they tried to extradite him all the way to America, and they did it finally. And he was like 16 or something, and they made such a big fuss that he had damaged all this stuff. He hadn't done anything. And the real problem is they should have fired everybody at the Pentagon, because what kind of idiots don't have any security?
Right, exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. You know.
So why'd they can the teacher for it?
The tech person.
Yeah.
You know? But you can't do that. You know, the more power you have, then the more backing you have, I guess, and the more buffer you have, right?
Yeah, but the school thing is really crazy right now.
Oh, yeah, all my grades, everything's on the computer. I
Right.
can look.
And they have they have the computers where the kids, when they write the paper, they have to turn it in, and then it's run through a computer to see if it's plagiarized.
I know.
Which is completely psychotic, because they all have the same sources to work with. How many variations of the paper can you possibly write?
I know, but you got a footnote. Oh, it's not just, it's so bad. Like, you know, my kids, I don't even have to do it, because I can just go to the first site, like whatever research paper I have them do. I can just go to the first site, hit Google, hit a few words, go to the first site. They all just go to the first site, and the paper starts all the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so transparent. It's like, guys, you got to be a little bit smarter than this. You know, I'm not even looking for it. But when I read, 50 papers and 25 of them start in the same way, right?
Right.
I don't look, I'm not the type of teacher that really looks for it. I look at it this way. If you want to cheat, you're still learning by cheating. And then eventually, justice prevails. It will catch up to you.
I failed the freshman English exam, exit exam at University of Cincinnati 3 times. And my English professor and his friends stood up for me and said that I have an original writing style and that I cannot write the corporate way they're trying to teach, and that it's criminal to try to force me into that system, and they forced a pass plus. And my godmother called me into her office, she's the dean, and said, what kind of weird influence do you have over the English department? They argued that I had an original writing style and I couldn't conform.
That's ludicrous. That's a crummy school. That's a crummy department.
Well, no, I probably do. I don't know.
Schools, writing is supposed to be original. Writing is supposed to be creative. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be an individual, right?
Well, no, it was the state forced them into this situation where they had to teach this strange writing style. Very, very corporate, very, very closed-minded. And I just couldn't do it.
Well, that's just the school you were going to.
No, you see.
And that's the Midwest. See, up east, we're more liberal. The Yankees are more open-minded.
Well, I heard it's so rigid that we have the same curriculum as New Zealand, exactly.
Yeah, see, and up here, all the states, they refuse. Even within the state, everybody has their own curriculum.
Well, how can they do that? They have to teach the NAEP test.
No.
They don't?
As long as we have a test that we give.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different up here. It's so Yankee. It really is.
They don't take the NAEP test at the end?
For honors, you mean?
They claim it's an aptitude test, but it's really a psychiatric test?
No, they don't have to take it up here. Mm-mm.
They must.
The only national standardized test that they take, and Anthony took it. He took an AP Calculus, AP Anatomy and Physiology, Bio, and Stats. And that's just a national test. And all that is to get in, so when you go to college, you don't have to take those, in the first course.
Well, what about No Child Left Behind? They don't have the standardized testing?
Yes, but the standardized testing is New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine got together and put together a test.
Oh, that's what they claim. But you should check it out. It's the same. It'll be the same as Idaho.
Well, it's really a terrible test. It's ridiculous. The test. It's moronic.
But they all claim that they all claim that each state came up with their own test, but they turned out to be identical.
Mm-mm. They're not, Stratty, I'm telling you. Because I've seen the New York test. I've seen all the other different tests.
Okay.
The teacher, remember, I had to sit there and worry about that shit. Well,
what about the test that's a felony to show the parents?
To show the parents?
Yeah, the parents aren't allowed to see it.
No, they're not allowed to see it, but they just know about the results. That's it. And the test is bogus. It's not even critical thinking.
Right.
And then the problem is it's a very homogeneous, very low minority. So if we have, let's say, one black kid that fails it, then we fail. You get it? Because it's all percentage. It's all numbers. Whereas, like, if you go to Cincinnati, you might have 50-50.
We do have 50-50.
Right? So, out of that 50-50 population, minorities, you have so many minorities that 25% have to fail. Well, if we have one minority, and he doesn't do good, she doesn't do good, we're screwed.
And you're penalized for it.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just totally ridiculous.
Well, that makes you teach to the test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? My district is really, we have like, kids are going to Princeton, Harvard, Cornell. You know what I mean? They're going to a lot of elite schools, and something like 98% go on to college, 4-year colleges, and they all take 4 years of sciences and math. So they don't really care. They just want us to encourage critical thinking, problem solving. Like I created this new chemistry course for kids that are, that are smart, but they're not book smart. They're more hands-on smart. And they like sciences, but they just can't do the math, and they just, aren't going to sit there and do the book work. You know what I mean? Traditional. So I created this called Chemistry of Foods. So it's a great class. Kids love it.
Chemistry of two?
Of foods.
Oh.
Foods. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
So, for example, I'll teach the chemistry of making jam and why there's sugar in it, if you have to have a certain amount of sugar in it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How to make pickles. I teach them about all the foodborne pathogens, 12 deadly foodborne pathogens, and how they get in it, stuff like that. We'll take milk and we'll separate it into like all the protein and the fats and measure it. But it's all critical thinking, problem solving, and lab skills, which when they get in, those kids, when they get in to a job, they're going to be doing tech work, right?
Yeah.
They have to have hands-on skills. You know me, I'm good with the partiers, right?
Right.
I can relate to them. I'm not rigid like some of these teachers.
Have they make you take the Change It weekend seminar?
No.
Oh, you're lucky.
No. Actually, I'm going to school in New York in August, and I'm going to become a wind senator.
Wind?
Yeah, senator. You know what that means?
What?
I got all these parts, equipment to make wind turbines. Small wind turbines actually produce electricity.
Yeah.
And the kids love it. I started off with just using Kinects and using different, Legos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would make different blades. And I started out with fans, and they could calculate the power produced.
Right.
And then, and they loved it because it was real. You know what I mean? It was hands-on. They were actually building things. They make solar water heaters, thermosiphons. In the middle of the winter, they go out there. We go out there on the football field. But anyway, it's just, I believe in alternative energy, and I think it's just foolish that we don't utilize it like we should.
Right.
So I'm going to school for it, and then I'm going to be teaching all of New England after this year, next year.
Are we running out of oil?
Are we running out of oil?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a joke?
It's a question.
It's why should we be dependent on all those assholes over there?
Well, we have more than they do here.
Mm-mm.
We have Prudhoe
what?
Bay. Prudhoe
We
Bay
do have it.
dwarfs the entire Middle East by more than 25 times.
It's unhealthy. It destroys the environment. I think what happened, down south is a perfect example. When we can take, up here it's cold as hell, and we get limited sunlight during the year. We can do it up here, I think. So
Right, no, but the question is peak oil true?
Is peak oil true?
Yeah.
You mean, are we running out?
Yes.
We are running out right now unless we drill more.
No. There's abiotic oil. There's oil that is not biology based. It's underneath.
Yeah, but it's underneath. You got to drill.
No, it's in the same pools where the rest of it is. Every time the Saudis thought they were running out, more appeared, and it's purer, and it doesn't have any fossils in it. The Saudis, every time they claimed that that there was a problem, every time Cheney would say something, the Saudis would protest that, and it wouldn't get covered over here. It was on their own website, on the government's website.
I'm not following you.
They found every time they think that the oil well is empty, there's more appears.
There is a limited source of oil, and I think it's dirty. I think it's unsafe. I don't think we have the regulations for it. Because they just keep digging.
Right.
And the quality control is not there. And, to me, I think it's very disheartening that we destroy all those beaches.
They did that on purpose to force radical environmentalism on us.
Oh, Scotty, now you're talking ridiculous. That was not on purpose.
Sure
but
it is.
It just told no.
Why didn't they cap it?
It shows you that it's a total lack of incompetence.
No. They were copying a Russian experiment. The Russians did it on land, so they were able to clear it up right away when they screwed it up. But the Americans stupidly did it at the bottom of the ocean, 1 mile deep, but they didn't care because even if it failed, which it did, good for them. It's good. It's great for them. They wanted that.
They were digging too deep, and they did not have the knowledge nor the technology, which is the same, I guess.
Well, no, the Russians did the same thing, but they did it on land.
What?
The Russians did the same thing exactly, but they did it on land.
On land, and there's a big difference when it's in water.
I agree. I agree. It's way more dangerous.
And we didn't have the technology, and you do not do anything without understanding that there's a risk, and if there is a risk, what is the solution to it?
Well, they did. They didn't care.
And that's because of the government was just allowing these guys to drill.
No, it's problem reaction solution.
Proper technology. It's called quality control, and it costs money for quality control.
Right, but when your goal is to pass legislation, and the people don't want it, then you create a disaster on purpose, and then you come in as the savior with the thing you wanted to pass all along.
You know what the problem is?
That's Hegel.
We're all those rich suckers. And I'll use nice words, which I really don't want to, about all those congressmen and all those people that have all that money. You know where their money comes from? Two things. steel and oil.
Right.
Steel and oil. And as long as we do not have term limits in the Senate, we will continue to have corruption because all those guys make their money from steel and oil.
We can't vote our way out of this now. We've crossed the line. We can't vote our way out of this. They won't allow people who have alternate views to run.
Well, I think that the beginning to decreasing the problems that we're having is by having term limits. I'm a strong believer in that. Because I don't care how good you are, you and I, maybe more me than you, not, but we might go in there thinking that we want to do good and have good intentions and be ethical and have integrity and all those other great adjectives, right, that all politicians or political workers should have, and they get corrupted. And I think anybody would.
But they get corrupted by one group. They could go.
Money is the root of all evil.
Right, but the money has a goal.
The money is what?
The money has a goal.
Has a goal?
Yes.
Yeah, power.
No. Well, yes, but it has a goal. It's world government.
It's power. Money produces power.
Yeah, but they're beyond making money at this point.
So then it's power. I know money's not an issue because money is an issue too. Because some want the money and they don't care so much about the power. But then the more money you make, I think it just happens. Then, and it's innate. You can't help it. Because power means control, and most people that have money are control freaks. And you got to admit that. Why do you think my dad never made money? He was never a control freak. He was the most uncontrolling person I've ever met in my life.
Right.
And if he was a control freak, then he would have been a lot wealthier than he was.
But
that was never his interest.
As much as he believed in the Byzantine system, he was also radically hypocritical. Because he was critical. Because he was a 33rd degree Freemason.
He was a what?
33rd degree Freemason.
I don't understand.
Because that's exactly the opposite of the Byzantine system. Freemason.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't understand you. My hearing's not that good. Plus, you talk kind of fast.
Yeah.
I thought I talked fast. You've talked faster than me.
I know. I actually talk faster than Pete Perdikakis. Everybody's shocked.
I know. Your mom used to always yell at me for talking so fast. Did she yell at you? She used to always yell at me.
Yeah, Pete's number one at talking fast, and I'm actually faster. But, no, he was a 33rd degree Freemason. Steve and I would quiz him. Steve's more upset about it than me. And do you know how he got to the 33rd degree?
Oh.
Because you can get to 32. John Strike got to 32. But you have to do something for them to get to the 33rd degree. So what did he do for them?
What?
Well, okay, you know who Timothy Ware is?
Yeah.
Timothy Ware is an outsider. Timothy Ware looks like he comes from Oxford because he comes from Oxford. He's an Englishman. He wanted to hook us up with the ecumenical movement because we're fundamentally opposed to the ecumenical movement because we're not Catholic-based. We're pre-Catholic.
And I read the book.
Okay.
When I was in college.
Okay. So, when Timothy Ware tried to hook us up with the Anglican Church and the other churches, the Anglicans opened the door for, I think, women priests and then later gay people, which blew the deal.
Then you wouldn't have child abuse if you did that.
I'm with you, but it blew the deal. Right? Deal.
I like Timothy Ware.
Okay, but the deal blew up. It exploded. When they took in women as priests, the deal exploded. So he was seen as untrustworthy, and he was a plant who was trying to get this ecumenism goal, and he couldn't do it because he was an outsider. And he knew your father in Cincinnati, and they needed an insider to arrange this, to make the changes. And your father didn't do it for him, but he found somebody who would.
Yeah, see, my dad is very non-confrontational.
Right. He found somebody that would. He found Salva Zimbelis.
Oh.
And Salva Zimbelis was sent to Oxford to be mentored by Timothy Ware as a Rhodes Scholar.
Right.
The Rhodes Scholarship was made by Cecil Rhodes, who cornered the diamond market. That's the De Beers diamond fortune, De Beers Oppenheimer. You know the people that want 3 months of your salary? Okay. In Cecil Rhodes' will, he left directions for the Rhodes Scholarship. The Rhodes Scholarship is to promote an Anglo-American establishment for world government, a parliament of the world, a one-world government. That's it. It's not a friendly scholarship program. It's a one-way scholarship program. You do what they tell you, and they have a gun to your head. And you will do as they tell you. And they will place you up very high in an organization so that you can change the policies of that organization. There are no Rhodes Scholars who live who don't do this. None. Bill Clinton is a Rhodes Scholar. Salva Zimbelis was a priest for 1 year. 1 year. And then they made him number 3 at the Greek Orthodox Church. And he changed the policies. And your father got to be a 33rd degree Mason.
I never heard that expression.
What, the 33rd degree?
Yeah, Mason.
Oh, no, I can say I have all their manuals. I have 3 copies of Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma, the one that they're supposed to return to the lodge when they die, but the widows sell them to the used bookstore.
How did what's his name get involved then?
Who?
Bart?
Who?
Huh?
I didn't hear that part.
What's his name?
Timothy Ware?
No, I know him. No, the other guy that used to be your parents' Kumbadi.
Zimbelis?
No. The one that baptized the Nicholas, right?
Jim Demetrian?
No.
That's Nicholas's godparents, the Demetrians.
Who's the wedding?
Oh, the Strikes?
Yeah, didn't you say the Strike?
John Strike. John Strike.
Yeah.
No, Louis Strike is their godparents. But John Strike told me about this in the 90s. But I didn't even know what he was saying. He was speaking into the language to me. I had never heard this stuff before. And it took me years to figure out what it meant. And before your father died, we asked him about this repeatedly, and he explained it to us. He explained it to Steve.
My dad did?
Yeah. He even took the Syrian rite, which is even heavier than the other ones. He didn't take this. John Strike called me to his house 3 times in the 90s to ask me to be a Freemason and then tell me in gestures, no, absolutely not, no. Like, it was really funny because clearly there was somebody around the corner to be listening to this. So that for audibleness, he asked me, do you want to be a Freemason? And in gestures, he waved away absolutely not, no, in the most violent terms possible. So that clearly the answer was no to this question.
So he didn't push it.
Do I want to do it or not?
I don't understand how my dad was connected with it.
He was a Freemason his entire life.
Are you supporting it?
No, he actually went to the lodge. He was a Freemason. They go to lodges, they have secret handshakes, they have oaths.
No way.
Yeah.
When he was younger?
No, the whole time. And what I'm saying is, they have 33 degrees, and you take this really, really scary oath about what will happen to you if you tell, and it gets more and more serious every time you take another oath. And at the end of it, at level 30, they tell you who you're really worshiping. It's a religion.
I don't believe it. I can't believe my dad would do that.
He told Steve, he told me, he sat there and explained it to us. And we already knew what it meant anyway.
I have to talk to Steve about it.
And John Strike confirmed it to me too, because he told me that your father had gotten to 33, but John was stuck at 32. John Strike was stuck at 32, but your father had gotten to 33. And you'd think that John Strike could have gotten there. He owned Martinizing, the largest dry cleaning in the whole country. Now, here's another connection to Freemasonry. How did Nick Strike, the grandfather, John Strike's brother, become enormously successful and run for the governor of Utah and make American Laundry the largest laundry manufacturer in the United States? How did he do that in Salt Lake City filled with Mormons?
That's a good question.
Because Mormons are Freemasons. It's a religion of Freemasonry. When you get to the temple, if you get a temple recommend,
I'm sorry, Stratty.
It's true.
That doesn't sound like my dad's style at all.
But it's true.
I have a hard time believing that.
Let me just tie this up because this will kill you. Mormonism is Freemasonry. When you get a temple recommend, you have just entered level 3. And then the rest of it is all secret, but it's all been filmed. People have proved it. It is Freemasonry. Now, there's another branch of Freemasonry that your father was not involved in, and that's called a HEPA. A HEPA is Freemasonry for Greeks. Now, Nick Strike was the head of a HEPA in the United States. Of course, he made a deal with Mormons. No problem. They're all the same club. That's the secret. Anyway, so your father was a Syrian Rite Freemason. And
to you.
No, according to him. And to get to the next level, because that's the honorary level, to get to be a Shriner, because he was a Shriner, you can't get to be a Shriner unless you're 33. He arranged for Salva Zimbelis to change the policies of the Greek Orthodox Church. We kept it together as a religion for the time of Christ and Constantine till now. And then your father needed to be 33, and then we blew it.
How did he change the policy?
Because Salva Zimbelis became the chancellor of the Greek Orthodox Church and changed policies.
So what policies did he change?
That we would participate in the world religion that will soon be a world religion to Lucifer. The one world religion in Jerusalem coming up.
Yeah.
That's what ecumenism is for. Ecumenism is to merge all the churches, including Islam, underneath the Catholic Church, because Ratzinger has dropped all the rules. Ratzinger, if you thought Vatican II was crazy, this is Vatican III, and it's everything must go. They dropped every rule. You don't have to be a Catholic to go to heaven anymore, according to the Pope. You can worship trees. No problem. They like the Dalai Lama. It's everything must go. He wrote 30-something books. I think 24 books, is it? Benedict wrote 24 books as Joseph Ratzinger before he became Pope about what he was going to do when he got in, and he did it. If you read The Orthodox Way, that's what Timothy Ware wrote about. He wrote about merging all the churches. That's what they want. And then, see, what they're doing right now is...
I agree with that. Because if we merged all the churches, then we wouldn't have so much violence. Well,
if we merged all the churches and we put the Antichrist on top in Jerusalem, then we'll be worshiping Lucifer.
Well, to be honest with you, I was never a fan of religion. I believe in God. I try to achieve balance in life. Not be a bad person, as Todd would say, have compassion.
Well,
I never believed in religion because I think religion is corrupt, just like government. Anytime you have anything that's organized and anything that is...
That's the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church split away in 1054 from the original 5 churches, and they changed everything. They even turned the system on its head. They turned it back to the Roman system, away from the Byzantine system. In the Byzantine system...
If you don't think that the Greek Orthodox Church is corrupt, you're crazy.
It can be, but it became corrupted especially when Zimbelis did it.
You know how much money that each church has to provide?
They do now.
You know how much money?
Right now, our church cannot keep the lights on because they have to pay so much money to New York, but that's because of Zimbelis.
You know how much?
It's a fortune. I don't know exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. And I told my mom, why? Just say forget it.
But that just changed.
I know you're the only reason, because if you get baptized and get married, then it's not registered. Who gives a hoot? Who gives a hoot?
If you look up the word registration, you wouldn't want to be registered.
Huh?
If you look up the word register, you wouldn't want to be registered anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, that's a pretty, Cincinnati, you're very fortunate. I've gone and been to a lot of churches and a lot of Greeks. And the Cincinnati church, they are true Greek people.
Right.
They love their culture. They love their tradition. And I do think that, for the most part, they're good people. They're good people.
Yeah.
I've never met such a loving community as Cincinnati.
But in every Greek Orthodox church in America, and I've been to a lot of them too, I've been out west too, there's a fight between the Greeks and the Asia Minors. The Greeks have been Europeanized. They believe in the Roman system. The priest actually owns a church in Greece. The Byzantine system is the Roman system on its head. You know the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill? It's upside down. The point is at the bottom. There's a reason we don't hear from the Patriarch of Constantinople. It's because he's holding the point at the bottom, holding the whole thing up. He has a responsibility, not an authority. The Catholic system, when the Catholics broke off in 1054, they flipped our system on its head and made it a pyramid with the Pope at the top, with top-down authority. They changed everything. That's why they are corrupt, and all the post-Catholic churches have the Catholic poison in them. So even though they all broke away because they thought they were going to fix these problems, the problems were caused by top-down control, and they wouldn't turn that off, so they are still corrupt. The Byzantine system is the exact opposite. Everybody who's supposedly in charge, they're not allowed to tell you what to do. They have a responsibility to make sure it works. They're the one everyone blames. Constantine is the strongest guy I've ever heard of. If you think about it for a couple minutes, he started out as the Roman emperor, where he could tell everybody what to do. Then he moved 800 miles to the east. Suddenly he couldn't get a sandwich made. You know what I mean? He had to make it himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the Byzantine system is exactly the opposite of the Roman system in every way. It looks just like it, but it's the opposite. And it's the basis of the American system, as filtered through England. But the current move now is this New World Order to push the Roman system of control on us. And what they did is they did it in 1913. They put in the Federal Reserve. They stopped teaching the Byzantine system in America, and then they had this blank out period. Now they're teaching the top-down control system. Because if you try to impose the Roman system on top of the Byzantine system, it's insulting. So they had to make everybody forget about it. But that's why America lasted all this time. That's why the Byzantine system lasted 1,126 years, is because they didn't tell you what to do.
True.
Did Father Mises ever tell us what to do? We would have fired him.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Right.
That's about the best part of Orthodoxy. Ugh.
They don't tell you what to do.
Yeah, and they're not pushy. But they are becoming more political because they're wanting more and more money.
Well, that's because of Zimbelis. Zimbelis changed every policy we had.
And I can understand why he's doing it, because the more money you have, the more power you have.
But the Orthodox Church was not about power.
Hmm?
See, another fundamental way that the Catholics changed the system in 1054 for themselves was that they are the intercessors between you and God. It's a hierarchy. In the Orthodox system, Christ is the king, and there's nobody between you and him.
Which, I like that.
But the Catholic and post-Catholic system is that you have to kiss up to some priest who has a deacon, who has a cardinal and all that stuff, getting all the way up to the Pope, and he's the guy with the ring.
Well,
And they claim that they're Christ on earth.
I'm gonna have to get going now because my house is upside down.
Okay.
My carpet's clean. And it was good talking to you. And I'll be talking to you 'cause I'm coming in next week.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get together. Okay.
Yep. And ask
So,
Steve about that. Because
Yeah,
he's been studying this. He knows all about it.
So I will. Hopefully I'll connect with you next week.
Okay.
I'll be around, I'm sure. So I'll have Steve bring me over or something. We can meet.
Yeah, make sure you come over to our side of town.
Come over what?
Come over to our side of town.
I usually do.
Yeah.
That's a dig. All right. Talk to you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
What's the word on the street, Lenny?
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know.
Where is everybody?
Nobody's here today. I don't know. Couldn't round anyone up.
Yeah, I was out at the bank earlier. Just got back.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yep.
I have a new headset as well.
Really?
I pulled the other one apart, didn't I? Moved the computer tidy to sweep underneath it. It's because it's on casters. So. And my headphones were attached to a little hook on the wall. Clunk.
That'll do it.
Yeah, pulled the wires out, screwed them. But daughter got me one straight away. A new headset. There you go.
I use a desk microphone and I face the speakers away.
Yeah, I was using my there's speakers in the monitor. HP 2000 W2007 and a Genius webcam with microphone. It seemed to work all right. So there you go. The only problem is the speakers are not that loud. So if any noise in the background, you can't hear what the fuck's going on. Excuse my French.
Yep.
So is Maggot with us?
Yes.
Hello, Maggot. Say hello.
Are you there?
I didn't have the thing down. Yeah, hi.
Well,
I like listening to music in the background and playing games and typing messages.
Oh my good night. Yeah, so
I got-
you were multitasking.
Multitasking. The Jews are not my people by Satan, and I just put a laughter at it. I say, no, the Jews are God's people.
I don't even think they're God's people.
God's chosen people, no less.
They chose themselves.
I think Yahweh.
I can't hear you, so you get...
This Yahweh character is the Satan, is the evil one.
I know. It's just like a little intelligence test. Who wrote the Bible? Ooh. Starting up in a cloud, obviously. Yeah.
Yep.
Din, din, din.
Anyway, who's this fella Genesis? He wrote that bit, didn't he?
Yeah. That's Phil Collins, isn't it? Or is that Peter Gabriel?
I believe in Peter Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the right sort of connotation, isn't it? Gabriel.
Yeah, I say gay. Well, yeah. The worst thing about Gabriel is like the angel Gabriel, and it's like worst sort of name, but the character's quite interesting. Yeah, but yeah, it's actually Gabriel or something. Gabriel, that's it.
Gabriel, yes.
Gabriel,
Like
yeah.
Israel.
That's it. Yeah, and it's so easy to speak. He break it down into syllables. Yeah. Gabriel, but unfortunately, yeah, it's like Gabriel. She's got the gay part in it as well.
Anyway, the Israelites were the God's chosen people, not the Jews. The Israelites.
Yeah.
You're not turning Christian identity on me, are you?
And the Israelites are not Jews.
Right.
They're nothing to do with the tribe of Judah.
But there wasn't even Israel in those times. The Israelites are the people who were going to inhabit Israel, weren't they?
Well, the current Palestinians are the original Israelites.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's no like
The
state
Semites.
of Israel until like Evelyn Rothschild invented it. You know, and put it on the map. Kind of like drew a circle where it says Israel.
Sir Evelyn de Rothschild.
Yes. Sir Evil Rothschild.
Right.
He'll be dead soon. Don't worry about it.
Evelyn, is he? I thought he'd be absolutely ancient by now. If
He married that
was
Lynn
in the
Forrester
same
that lives in New York.
Oh yeah, it was like started in 19. When was Israel started then by him? I thought it was like 1850, but it's more like for 1950, is it?
1948.
1948, but it's not really Israel because the UN never actually ratified the resolution. So the resolution for Israel's never been ratified. It's only because the United States and Great Britain recognised the country. It was recognised by those two, but actually it's still not a proper country because it's never been ratified. You can't ratify stolen land, can you?
Right. Well, they had the Balfour Agreement, but they didn't have a right to give it away.
(1921) Balfour.
Yeah. That's why Lawrence of Arabia is so mad in the movie. He was doing it for the Arabs, and he got tricked.
He got raped by the Turks, according to...
Yeah, that's another awful story. You're right.
I'm looking at Lord Milner. Let's have a look at Lord Milner.
Milner's Kindergarten. That's Cecil Rhodes was the... Milner was one of Cecil Rhodes' flunkies.
No, I think it was the other way about. Lord Milner... Cecil Rhodes was one of Lord Milner's flunkies.
Okay.
Evelyn de Rothschild is only 79 years old. It's not that old.
He brought forward the Fabian Society. Let me just
Yes.
have a Google of that.
I've got Tragedy and Hope, but who's read it? You know, it's very, very thick.
His uncle's called Evelyn Achilles de Rothschild. He's like Achilles heel who was killed in action in World War One. What a surprise!
Right,
was
yes.
he shiny ankle?
This is the real story. Lord Milner created the famous Fabian Society, which spawned the Round Table, which spawned the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, the Tavistock Institute, and the Royal Institute of International Affairs.
Which is now Chatham House.
Chatham House, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of Charlie Boy's residences. Chatham fucking hell.
Yeah. It's in Cheltenham as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You got to get out of there.
Well, wait a minute. I'm just double checking. There's
I thought that was Highgrove. I thought that was Highgrove in Cheltenham.
There's one in. There might be one in London. That's why I was double checking. I haven't checked that bit yet. But it says Chatham House, 2 Church Road, Cheltenham, Gloucestershire. It was change of use from private dwelling and doctor surgery to private dwelling only. There you go. No, I think they just used the name Chatham House on that one.
London.
Yeah. There's a chathamhouse.org.uk website.
Dudar de Rothschilds appointed Lord Alfred Milner to implement the British Fabian Society plan. It all comes back to those fucking Rothschilds geezers.
Yep.
Mm.
Beware the Fabian Society. Above top secret.
Yeah, the Chatham House you're talking about is in London, 10 St James's Square.
Yep, St James.
Yeah.
That's King. Prince Big Ears' fucking residence.
Yeah, wanna be king. I don't even know if he wants to be. He might be just out of boredom. Yeah, but just by complete coincidence, there's a Chatham House in Cheltenham as well. But it's from what I was saying, it was a converted doctor's surgery. It's now like a private apartment.
It was a doctor's office too?
It was. The one in Cheltenham, that's the only 2 matches that came out, that's why I mentioned it. Well, I did do Chatham House Cheltenham on search. So it might be loads of Chatham Houses. Chatham House, formerly known as the Royal Institute of International Affairs, is a non-profit, non-governmental organisation based in London wose mission is to analyse and promote the understanding of major international issues and current affairs. So it's a PR people propaganda.
Well, of course, that's what it does.
Yeah. It's not hard to read through that one.
But whether it's actually working for the good of the people or working for the good of the few, it's for the good of the few. That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the round table is the main one.
Mm. Surprisingly, with the King Arthur significance and all that.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Apparently NATO has a round table as well for all the top knobs, bigwigs.
Well,
they all sit around a round table.
NATO was spawned by Britain with the collaboration of the Americans again in 1948, 47, 48.
Yeah. It's so convenient having the Second World War. It was really useful setting up all these organisations and,
Yep.
And State of Israel. It is a state, isn't it? It's not a country.
That is odd. That's very strange, you're right.
Yeah.
Change, and the UN as well changed from being the League of Nations to the United Nations in that same time period.
I'm just wondering what would they call it? Just checking. Is it? Yeah, it's officially the State of Israel, and not called country. I have to look up the definition of a country is now as well. One of those words you take for granted.
The 51st state of America.
Certainly we pay for it.
Oh, maybe it's the other 49 states of the state of Israel. The states of Israel.
Well, they come first. That's why there's a Star of David on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
Which was not the Star of David. They invented that for the Zionist meeting in 1800s.
The philosophy of the Fabian Society was written in 1877 and included the Rothschild-appointed Lord Alfred Milner to implement the plan.
Well, I've got state is a governed nation, entity or sub-entity, sovereign state, a sovereign political entity in international public law. That's the one I guessed that one. I knew that one, but I'm not sure what country means now. What the difference is. It's developed from the Latin word contra, apparently.
Yeah.
Meaning against, yeah.
Yeah.
It says that which lies against or opposite to the view, i.e. the landscape spread out to the view. From this came the late Latin term contrata, which became in the modern Italian contrada. The term appears in Middle English from the 13th century already in several different sentences. I don't know. I can think of it, but it's hard to describe it. It's something like if you had like the British Empire and then a country within the British Empire, that would imply it's not part of the British Empire, even though it's part of the actual landmass. You know, because it stands against it. It's just by its existence, it's against it. It's not part of it.
How about this? I'll read you this now, chaps. This is very interesting. Abel Danger. The City of London of Fabian Society. The modern system of local and regional government can be directly traced back to Babylon when King Nebuchadnezzar 605 to 562 BC. The city was divided up into 10 district regions, or districts ruled by princes, under whom were mayoral governors, captains, judges, treasurers, and councillors and sheriffs. In modern times, the system of local government that we have throughout the world is derived exclusively from the City of London Corporation. The City of London Corporation is a Masonic private independent sovereign state occupying approximately 1 square mile within the heart of Greater London area, inside the old Roman walls of London. It either directly or indirectly controls all mayors, councils, regional councils, multinational and transnational banks, corporations, judicial systems, through Old Bailey, Temple Bar, and the Royal Courts of Justice and Inns of London. The IMF, World Bank, Vatican Bank, through NM Rothschilds and Sons Limited, and their London Italian subsidiary Torrellino, European Central Bank, United States Federal Reserve, which is privately owned and secretly controlled by 8 British-controlled shareholding banks. The Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland, which is also British-controlled and oversees all the reserve banks around the world, including our own. And last but not least, the Communist European Union and Communist United Nations organisations. So they're saying all this shit is controlled through the City of London. The supreme ruler of the City of London is the Lord Mayor, who is elected once a year and lives in the Mansion House. The city is has a resident population of about 5,000 that rises to about 2 million during the week when people surge in and out of each day to work. The financial centre of the world, it is often termed the wealthiest square mile on earth. The full title of the square mile's governing body is the Mayor, Aldermen and Commons of the City of London in Common Council assembled. The Court of Leadership consists of the Lord Mayor, 25 Aldermen and 130 Common Councilmen. All of the giant, largely Jewish international banks and corporations of the City of London that control the world are members of one or another of the 12 great livery companies domiciled in Guildhall or the Hall of the City of London Corporation. As a result of the gentleman's agreement between the sovereign and the city merchants and bankers made many hundreds of years ago, the Lord Mayor is officially the head of the corporation and is allowed to operate independently of the sovereign. However, the wealth of the world held in the corporation ultimately is the sovereign's, Queen Elizabeth's, by the way, that is, because should the gentleman's agreement break down, the sovereign has the power to rescind the corporation's independence. The Queen sometimes refers to the corporation as the firm. Wow. While ostensibly the power of the monarchy appears to be diminishing as the Queen voluntarily gives up her Commonwealth countries their independence and they become republics chartered to the United Nations, and she actively works towards abolishing the sovereignty of Britain as the UK is broken up and divided into regions of the European Union, her City of London Corporation, multinational banks and corporations are quietly taking over the world.
Where are you getting this from?
This is from Friday, February the 19th, 2010, the City of London and the Fabian Society. I will send you the link.
Okay. That was very good.
Here we go into the American Freeman Dubriator chat room. Kadunk.
Oh, this is Hawk's Cafe. This is what I've been trying to tell you about. They're fantastic.
AbleDanger.net.
Yeah, and the guy, if you see at the top left, that is David Hawkins, and he, if we had him on the show, he is indistinguishable from your voice.
From my voice?
Yes. If you heard the radio show that these people have, well, they're guests on someone else's show every week. But if you heard David Hawkins, he sounds exactly like you. I mean, you couldn't tell the difference.
There is no religion higher than truth.
Mm-hmm. They have a really amazing thing that they've been explaining.
Well, this is just this shit. I'm going to bookmark this page because I want to read all this.
There's a thing on the left that says listen to interviews. I listen to their show every week.
The Fabian Society's privatization of the world. Communist sustainable development.
Oh, sustainable development is really evil. That's part of that Agenda 21. They have sustainable development boards in America?
Yeah, well, it's all controlled by the Fabian Society of London.
Oh, yeah. You're not allowed to build on your own property. You're not allowed to... Certain times of year, you can't walk on the lawn. I mean, it's very complicated. And it's not about sustainable development at all. In fact, it's about locking you off your own land.
The pauperization of pensioners and the middle class.
They're taking some of the low-level government officials that are involved in 9/11 to court. And one of those is Field McConnell, who is David Hawkins' partner. Field McConnell's own sister is one of these people. He's prosecuting his own sister.
For what?
She's one of the functionaries who operated the machinery that did 9/11. She's Christine Marcy. When you see her thing, it's incredible. But there are a whole bunch of them, and they've been going to court, and they found a federal judge who's willing to take the case. Everybody's theory about 9/11 agrees with Hawks Cafe, because Hawks Cafe is only interested in the lower level. They exposed a group of radical lesbians who operate the government in times of crisis called FemComp. There's a bunch of different groups that they've managed to expose. And they're all the lower level functionaries. Now we know the higher level groups, but these people are focusing on the lower level groups. And a lot of it was done to explode catastrophe bonds. Or that's one of the effects. But those are the same bonds. Like when I take the money from the health department, I mean that's their bond. Coming out of their bond. Does that break the whole thing, or do they get to keep the rest of it, or what happens to the rest of the money in the bond?
How about this? Before Tony Blair became British Prime Minister in May 1997, he was chairman of the Fabian Society.
Wow. That Fabian Society, they want to go very, very slowly and get, everything, but they go incredibly slowly.
There are about 200 Fabian MPs in the House of Commons in London, some of whom have formed almost entire Labour cabinets, including Gordon Brown, Robin Cook, Jack Straw, David Blunkett, Peter Hain, Patricia Hewitt, John Reid, Ruth Kelly, Alan Milburn, and Claire Short. Fabians now dominate the entirety of British government.
This is the famous stained glass window for the Fabian Society.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Remold it nearer to the heart's desire.
Okay.
Remold it.
Pray devoutly, hammer stoutly.
I can't read the little captions on that bottom bit.
Oh, wait at the bottom? I'll try to find a larger picture. It's been photographed really clearly.
Enlarge image. Where's fucking enlarge image?
No, if the resolution is so small, you can't enlarge it to a certain point.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a much bigger one. This one will shrink to the size of your browser, but click it one more time and you should be able to make it larger. Here we go. Plays number 1, pleasant. Plays number 2, unpleasant. Plays for Puritans. Man and Superman. Getting married. Common sense. Minority Report on the Poor Law. Industrial Democracy. History of Trade Unionism. English Local Government. Fabian Tracts and Essays. And the guy is holding a book called New World for Old.
New World for Old Man.
Like, if you click on it, it gets much, much larger.
This is all interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Since 1997, the British general election, blah, 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 headed by Tony Blair. Fabians now dominate the entire British government. Resident parties, committees, commissions. Thank you, Selena. The Fabian Society literally controls the European Union. German-born Guy Seller Stewart, the Labour MP for Birmingham Baston since 1999, a member of the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee, was one of the 2 House of Commons representatives to the European Convention and a member of the Presidium of the Convention on the Future of Europe. I got to read all this shit. This is good grief.
The big deal book on this is called Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley. And it's huge. And it tells the actual full story. He was given the full records of the CFR and the RIIA, Royal Institute of International Affairs.
Yeah, but the CFR and the Royal Institute and Tavistock Institute and Trilateral Commission all seem to be subservient to this fucking round table, this Fabian Society.
He explains the origin of the Fabian Society and the whole thing. It's 11.
What's the book called?
Tragedy and Hope.
By whom?
Carol Quigley.
Carol?
It's a guy.
2 R's and 2 L's and Carol.
It's a very famous book.
And Quigley, I think, spelled Q-U-I-D-G-E.
No, Q-U-I-G-L-E-Y.
Okay.
Q-U-I-G-L-E-Y?
Yes.
Yeah, Quigley, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, you say the G as the G. Alright, even though it's a middle word. Okay. I'll say Quigley.
The Tragedy of...
Here it is.
No, Tragedy and Hope. It's like a... what do they call it? Dichotomy.
I just linked you to it. I've actually have this book. And the one that they have next to it, The Anglo-American Establishment by Carol Quigley. This was the mentor of Bill Clinton.
Still is, isn't he?
Oh, he's dead.
Well, let me see.
Oh, okay.
I mean, even when Bill Clinton was in the presidency, all the rumours were going around about how Anglophile he was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, he's a Rhodes Scholar, too.
A Rhodes Scholar?
Yeah. That's what the Rhodes Scholarship is supposed to do, is to fit into this Milner and whatever plan. They assign them to the correct post, where they can change all the policies of whatever organization they're assigned to. I mean, they move mountains to make your placement. And there is no living Rhodes Scholar who does not go along with the plan. I mean, when you get there, they put a gun to your head. You're going to do what they want.
Well, I thought was Obama a Rhodes Scholar?
No, he's a what is that called? Oh man, now that you said the other one, I can't think of this one.
What was the scholarship he got? It was supposedly only open to foreign students.
Hold on, I'm gonna type it in.
Home economics, cookery, baking.
Fulbright.
Fulbright, that's it. Fulbright scholarship.
Fulbright pays for American citizens to go overseas only, or foreigners to come to the United States, but it won't pay for an American to go to an American college. So Obama blew it by saying he's a Fulbright scholar because he'd have to be a foreign citizen to be going to Columbia on a Fulbright scholarship.
Right, give us a sec. I'm just going to go and get... my daughter's made me a burger, so I'm going to get some stuff to put on it.
Oh.
But see how that works? It's only one way. Since he went to American colleges, he'd have to be a foreign student to be a Fulbright scholar.
Yeah, well, burgers only work one way as well.
I know.
You put them in the mouth, and then it's one way trip from there onwards.
Right.
Right, you finish chewing them.
I'm making another pizza.
I'm trying to remember what I had today. I don't know.
I made an early part to the show for today. I tormented my cousin. She didn't know her father got to the 33rd degree and how. So she's very, very unnerved by the end of the call.
Oh yeah, I had loads of Italian copper, and it's spelled Koppa, and some birthday cake. A whole birthday cake.
What's Italian copper?
I think it's called copper. It's like sliced sausage.
Oh.
Well, obviously it's not sold sliced, but yeah, sausage. If I remember it right, anyway. It was quite nice, actually. I'm not a fan of like Italian salami. That's too salty. German sausage is generally nice. Yeah, I think Italian salami is just disgustingly salty. It's just like...
Well, they have a... do they have Subway over there?
Yeah. Yeah, we got
Subway has a sandwich called the BMT, and it's 3 uncommon meats that we don't have here.
Yeah.
We do because they have it at Subway, but... Let me see what's in that BMT.
One of the nicest sort of meats I've had is Spanish chorizo. That's really nice.
Spanish
They're gonna be
chorizo?
chorizo spelled CHORIZO. I think it's chicken and pork. I'm not sure though. It tastes really nice though. Yeah.
It says pork.
It is just pure pork. It's got a really nice texture to it. Maybe I had it with chicken on a pizza, but I've had it loads of times.
It might be chicken too. With Wikipedia, it's hard to tell stuff. No, I think it is pork.
Just pork, yeah. It's really nice. It's kind of got a spicy taste to it. It doesn't taste sort of bland.
Yeah.
Still tastes sort of fresh. Works. They got mad for it on pizzas now. They just they brought out loads of chorizo-based pizzas. So Spain's a funny country because they seem to win all the World Cups, and they're like in the top 10 of the world economies. And yet, if you talk to the average person, they know jack shit about it.
Right.
And it's really strange.
Well, the English know something about it because they go there for vacation a lot, but Americans know nothing about Spain. They assume it's Mexico.
Yeah. What was it? Number 6 or something?
No, this is the first time Spain's ever won the World Cup.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember they didn't they win in 1982, or was that something else? I'm not a fan of football at all, but I thought they won in 1982, and there was that.
No, first time ever
Okay.
Spain's ever won the World Cup.
Cool.
But you see, the English were always robbing the Spanish, weren't they?
Yeah.
They'd let the Spanish do all the hard work in South America and steal all the Aztec gold and such.
Yeah.
And then the privateers, the good old privateers, would come along and steal it from the Spanish.
The cruelest people are the Portuguese.
Yeah.
The Spanish were mean, but the Portuguese were really cruel in South America. And also, all those little islands between America and England are all owned by Portugal.
Mhm. Who was it? Queen Isabel of Spain, wasn't it? Ruling over the time of the Spanish Empire. Kind of short-lived one.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the time of the conquistadors and.
Yeah, but Portugal is Britain's oldest ally, military ally.
I've been on holiday in Portugal. It was very nice. It was a really crappy location though. It was a caravan holiday. Can you believe? Family of 7 in a caravan holiday. Fucking mental. I was too young to have any choice. I had to go.
In a caravan?
Yeah. In Portugal. I mean, you know, you probably don't know what the weather's like in Portugal, but it's hot, but it's dry hot.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of like, really bad sort of environment. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to go out as well, go out to the park because they were worrying about their stupid brats, like running off or whatever, just being pathetic and hysterical. And so I had to stay in the bloody caravan with all the brats in the baking heat and just like not being able to do anything while they were just like having mental fits or whatever, like pretending to look for stuff and forgetting what they were looking for and just being queers, basically. Really bloody annoying. I hated it. It was, you see, it was really nice. It was really hard to actually try and enjoy that holiday because I managed to always scrape my way into actually enjoying the holiday, but it was really difficult because we were always stuck in the caravan. But once we actually broke out of the caravan, well, they always made sure I had to follow them where they went, like walk for 2 miles to get to the nearest beach or whatever. Well, I sort of like, I think there's a hotel or something that I wasn't supposed, that we weren't actually booked in, but I used to go there and use the swimming pool. I don't know how I got away with it, but I did. So whatever. I think it's because the girl was nice. He worked on the reception desk, and it was like the reception desk, and straight past her, that was the swimming pool. So I just like sort of hang around, look at some books.
Yeah.
Didn't even know if I actually swimming, but the weather was nice enough that you could just sit by the pool. So I get too dehydrated. But didn't really think that much of it. The area I was in was just like really deserted. They didn't seem to like actually having roads, you know, it was all just like flattened down, like JCB style. But they didn't actually, I can't actually remember there being actually any proper roads with markings on them and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Spain's popular with the English just for holidaying, but it's infamous because the English only like to go to places that are like England. And so you can tell the places that are popular with the English tourists is because they've got pubs around every, like, you know, at least one pub on every road. And they're all English speaking, and it's all, they all know the English colloquialism, so it's all like, alright mate, and, you know, there'll be like English football on the TV all the time, and it just basically is sort of Little England. It's a bit sad, really. Can't really have any of the actual genuine Spanish culture. They just basically got a version of England over there in the 1830 holidays and stuff like that, make it sort of get a lot of the press attention. Did in the 80s anyway. But actual Spain itself, I don't think many people actually know that much about it. No. What actual countries like. They just have to sort of like, because it's such a big area, they just, I suppose, carve out little bits of England here, there and everywhere. I mean, on the other hand, they must make a fortune off the English tourists. I hope they do. But then if the economy's that good, they're maybe not making that much money. But there's a lot of unsold property in Spain as well now. I remember I read it out a bit, and it was quite a high percentage of unsold property. So I think perhaps the economy's collapsing there as well. Oh, I read there was loads of follow-up reports on that moat killing, and it turned out I think he blinded a police officer before, and it was one of the police officers. No, he blinded a police officer now, but one of the police officers who was sort of on the scene was one that he'd previously assaulted, shot at with a shotgun or something and injured or something. It's just ridiculous. And there's like 12 follow-up stories all about it and all the past deeds, and they called him an evil bastard now, and how he's a bodybuilder. And the guy's massive, and we just had to do what he said, sort of thing. And how the police cunningly set up this ploy and lured him out of the van or whatever, and then confiscated the van when he was out. And then he came back and he couldn't get into the van because he'd been confiscated, that sort of thing. So he's like king of vileness now. And a few days previously, like Gaza was all sympathetic for him, but it seems that he was just kind of paranoid sort of nut job. So he's sort of like got the lone psycho killer thing. It was known to the police, and all the relatives all chiming in saying what a meanie he was, and then there's a few people trying to say other things in the other direction, but they basically making him out to be a total nutcase.
And everything you've just said, Maggot, is a load of absolute bollocks.
I know. I'm not saying I believe a word of it.
Absolute bollocks.
Yeah. I know.
When he was captured, the villagers had to point him out to the police. He was sat on a fucking park bench while the BBC was recording a report about it, and he was sat over the fucking right-hand shoulder on this fucking park bench of the BBC reporter.
So he's like this big bodybuilder. I know. I knew all along. I was thinking, like, I was being sarcastic. I don't know if you can tell. It's the way I speak sometimes. But yeah, I know. They just suddenly decide now he's massive, now he's a bodybuilder, now he's this and that, and all this stuff in his past. It's all suddenly sprung up to light.
It's a load of everything is a load of shite. As far as I've been able to discern from various sources, this guy caught his wife with another fucking fella.
That's right. He killed him, and he injured her.
Yes. They put him inside.
Yeah. This is his previous offence, wasn't it? This is the one.
Yes.
That's it.
They put him inside, and he escaped because he hadn't completed. He hadn't completed the job with his wife, and that's all he was interested in doing. Was doing for her, basically.
Yeah. Finishing her off.
Finishing her off, yeah. That's all it was about.
Not in the house of your father, saying either.
None of all this other bullshit is actual real. The guy escaped. I mean, to be honest, they let him escape. You don't just escape from fucking jail like that.
No.
Not a chance. They let him escape.
I was saying, I think it was yesterday.
And his death, right? His death. He was holding a gun to his own head, threatening to commit suicide, so they tasered him. And what's the first reaction when you get tasered?
Yeah, you squeeze, you flinch.
You flinch,
well,
you squeeze.
You contract, don't you contract your nerves? Yeah, so yeah. Oh, we never could have guessed.
We never thought he was going to blow his head off. No, of course you fucking did, you dumb shit. But now his brother has said in the Daily Telegraph that was an involuntary execution by the police.
Yeah. They all decided to rush into the defence now. And there was one police officer that he apparently shot 20 pellets into and blinded. Was that on the recent event, or is that the one where he got slammed up for? Locked up for?
On the recent event, but the officer says he forgives him.
Yeah, I know, and he vows to go back to duty as well. It's like, oh, as a blind man, yeah, you're going to be really useful, aren't you? Hey, come on. blind policemen.
They're a bunch of fucking idiots, all of them.
The Monty Python always used to portray the English police as deaf, dumb, and blind. In the Dinsdale case, how the detective kept up on it is by reading the Sunday supplements. The Sunday supplements is like the most, the most far away from like any investigation, I think the police were behind that.
They read the Sunday supplements and then they make up their own story, to match.
Yeah.
Excuse me a moment.
Didn't the Thompson twins in the Tintin stories make up most of the investigation based on what they read in the papers on the trains and stuff? Or something like that. Yeah, there was like about 12 different links going all over the place for this moat thing, and it's just, they're just making him out to be something. They're doing like a job like they did in America with the various serial killers who had like that, they Columbine killings, and they're just trying it out now.
Or the Manson
over here. Oh yeah, Charlie Manson, that's donkey's years ago.
The Manson thing was completely made up. That Bugliosi, whatever, it was completely invented. Mm-hmm. Dennis Wilson lived with Charlie Manson and the girls there for 6 months. Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys, the drummer, and his brother, the only Beach Boy. The other ones were like the Baggage Boys. They weren't even on the records. They didn't write any songs. It was Brian Wilson by himself. So anyway, Brian Wilson had just started a record company called Brother Records, not Brothers, Brother, one brother. So Dennis promised Charlie Manson he could get him a record contract. And the guy who was the A&R artist and repertoire, the guy who would sign you for the record company was Terry Melcher, who was Doris Day's son. And Brian Wilson wouldn't tell Charlie Manson no, wouldn't even talk to him. So the guy, where it came down to telling him no, we're not going to give you a record contract, was Terry Melcher had to tell him no. So where the first murder occurred, they went to Terry Melcher's house to kill Terry Melcher because he wouldn't give him the record contract.
Yeah.
And Charlie Manson didn't even go on this, because if he had gone with them, he would have said, that's not them, don't kill them, that's not Terry Melcher. But he had moved out the month before.
Yeah.
So it was mistaken identity. They killed the wrong people.
Was that Sharon Tate that they killed?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
She was the next rental in the, he had moved out and Sharon Tate moved in. So they killed the woman at that, or the people at that address, there you go. But so when you don't know the theme of a story, you come up with every circumstantial thing to go with it. That's crazy. That's what that Bugliosi did.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some of that, I don't know, but most of it has to be false. Because it dismisses Terry Melcher. He was the key factor in it.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the Beatles also they famously rented a villa out there in Los Angeles, and that was all they lived there. Terry Melcher rented after them.
Yeah. I think the band Ross in the 80s was named themselves after Brother Records. You take BRO and then S. Yeah. Ross is short for Brothers, but it's supposedly a reference to Brother Records. Horrible band though. Probably have to wash my mouth out after mentioning that.
I don't think Brother Records did very much.
No.
It was one of those, like the swan song for Led Zeppelin, one of those labels that does nothing. Vanity.
Yeah. Just like good name or something. Just stand out as a rebellious thing. Rebellious. Yeah, I could dig up the rest of the motor articles, but it's not worth it. I mean, CC and I just summarised it. It was, just like making him out as a real psycho nutcase, serial killer, bodybuilder. Maybe not Charlie Manson. I don't think Charlie Manson's the archetype they're trying to compare him to. I think it's going to be more like a Charles Bronson without the moustache.
He really is a real thick neck. That guy was really huge.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen the one photo of Mo that you got, the predictable "I am a psycho" sort of photo. of him, and yeah, he looks like reasonably big, but he's not like super massive. He's only as big as like your average sort of bouncer sort of like look-alike. He doesn't really look like a.
Yeah.
But they're obviously going to make him out to be, you know, some sort of like absolute raging giant and just like unstoppable, killing rampage. The only thing we could do was to take the life out of him.
Well, they were really. You can see how they cropped it. I mean, they just got the face. You know,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
cropped the rest of his body out.
Yeah, and they got that photo of him with his like he's at an angle. I don't know if you got the same photo.
No, he had the face forward one.
Okay. Well, there's one of him like his face is all covered in blood going down the right hand side or left hand side, and his shoulders are at an angle, so you can't actually see how wide apart his shoulders are. So he could be of like medium build. I don't think he'd be slight build. Like, he'd be probably medium build, but he's not like super massive like they're making out. Some sort of unstoppable tank monster. It's funny though, I don't know, because we've already got gun restrictions. I don't really know where they're angling for. I think possibly it's just something to do, a bit of exercise for the media, preparation for other things. Because
they've already got the gun restrictions.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I was thinking the reason that they work so well is it's not so much the gun restriction laws. I think it's the sort of like the policy of people is to say the what they say in the media is the system of gun-related violence. You know, people just associate guns with violence. We haven't got that. That's it. Gun culture. They try and keep guns off the streets because they want to avoid having a gun culture, because people don't think when they get into a situation like an argument with the neighbours, they don't think over here of like, I'll go and get out my shotgun or my rifle or whatever. They'll bang on the door or whatever, or you know, have an argument with them. They haven't got that mentality that they have in America of you know, pulling out an Uzi or whatever.
They sure do here, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they've managed to sort of restrict the flow of, you know, like cut the supply of, is people even thinking about using guns as a way of resolving arguments over here. So if they set somebody up as a serial killer, well, as a killer with a gun, then they're going to be anticipating some sort of event that will make people think about buying guns and using them, or stocking up on guns. So I reckon that must be something like that in the pipeline.
That was Obama's election for us.
Yeah. Well, everybody stocked up on guns.
Oh, it went nuts. The gun market went crazy. Because people were stocking up on everything because they knew he was going to take it away.
Yeah.
Well, in the UK, of course, if you want a gun, as long as you're a criminal and you know where to go, you can get one.
Yeah. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult. If you want one, you can have one.
No, but I was saying over here we haven't got the gun culture. We haven't got the mentality that, you know, if you have an argument with somebody, like your neighbour or whatever, you know, shouts at your dog or whatever, you don't think of pulling out a gun and shooting them or shooting their dog. You go over there and bang on their door or shout back at them, or, you know, drive over their lawn or something. You know, you haven't got that automatic association. But I was thinking they've introduced this guy as a gun killer, you know, killer with a gun, in order to put people off using guns and making out that people with guns are psychopaths and, you know, just raving nutters. So it's anticipation of some event that's going to happen where people will be tempted to buy and use guns.
They're not tempted. In the UK, they're not tempted to buy and use guns. It's knife culture.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, you're more likely to get. Yeah. That's it. Like physically attacked rather than attacked from a range with a rifle or whatever.
Yeah. That's people in the UK tend to get right up close and personal.
Yeah. You can tell more what's going to happen rather than in America with the drive-by shootings and all that.
Much more insidious in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I was thinking
if if I had a real nasty with a neighbour in the UK, I'd know where to go to give a guy £500 to cripple him permanently. Put him in a fucking wheelchair for me, will you? Here's 500.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about that in America, how the victim will sue you in England, even though they were robbing your house.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of sick.
So if you're gonna, you see the a couple of Indian guys, they were in Reading. They were robbed at gunpoint. A small businessman he was. They tied up and his daughter and his wife and were threatening to rape him. He managed to get himself free and stabbed one of them with a kitchen knife, and they ran out.
Yeah.
And his brother went down the street with him. They caught up with one of the guys and kicked the fucking living shit out of him, and he deserved it, I think. And they jailed the two Indians, not the guy who was robbing and threatening to rape his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
They always get the wrong party somehow.
Yeah, well, actually, there was a public outcry, and within a month, the two Indian guys were out of jail. An absolute public outcry there was about it, and he was freed. But that's the sort of stupidity they're trying to get you to put up with in the UK nowadays. You defend yourself in your own home. You're the one that goes to jail, not the fucking thief and burglar.
Yeah.
You're supposed to lay down and die somehow.
Oh no, what you're supposed to do is call the police and wait 2 weeks for them to arrive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely don't use a gun.
Well, my brother-in-law, we were in the house back in the UK. We were replacing windows and renovating the place, and he climbed in through one of the windows that still hadn't been glazed yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to call it the old forge cottage. Well, there was like a cottage one side, then the forge was a big building attached, but we started renovating that and making it into all one house. This guy climbed in through the window, and my brother-in-law heard him and chased him. He jumped out the window. And what have you? We phoned the police, you know, and 2 weeks later they turn up. Literally, it took them 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
The police to come?
Yeah, to a burglary, yeah, 2 weeks.
They're usually gone by then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have thought...
Unless they moved in. I mean, they could have burgled the place, you could have vacated the property, and then they go, oh, there's nobody here, we'll just live here then. Yeah. 2 weeks later, the police turn up, do you actually live here? No. What are you doing here? Burglars! There's nobody in, so we just thought we'd stay here.
It's different in this country. Now, there was some people staying in a friend of mine's place. The woman who had rented it out illegally, right?
Yeah.
While they were back in the UK. So I phoned the cops, and they went down there with me. And the lights were on, and you could hear all the music and shit inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this... they were being charged $500 a month, right? And there was 6 or 7 of them in there. But when the copper went up to the door, he knocked on the door, but he knocked on the door with his .38 Beretta. Boom, boom. The guy opened the door, and the Beretta was pointing straight at him. I thought, yeah, right. There's going to be no violence here, is there? Anyway, all these little Guyanese were shitting themselves. These 5 or 6 coppers piled in the house, all with the guns drawn.
Well, in America, they immediately bully you with a gun. That's the whole thing the cops do.
Yeah, well, they didn't actually shoot the guy. They just sort of pointed at his head. Behave. Gather your things together. You're gone.
That's why I knew not to let them in when they came here. I knew what they do.
Yeah. But as I say, he didn't even knock on the door with his knuckles or whatever. He used the barrel of the gun to fucking bang, bang, bang on the door. I thought most appropriate. I'll just stand well back here, should I? Anyway, you'll be all right now because if you live in Oakland, Oregon, because of all the police redundancies, they're not even going to turn up to a burglary at all.
They don't?
Oh, no.
Wow.
It was on the news yesterday. Yesterday. There's so many crimes they're just not going to bother turning up to. I think I put it in the American.
You've gone really far away.
I think he's looking for something.
Is that better? Yeah, anyway, so they are just not going to bother turning up.
Well, what I thought was great in Seattle, the people forced their way onto the city council and fixed it so that the cops' lowest possible priority is the enforcement of the marijuana laws. They have to sweep the police station out. You know what I mean? Everything has to be perfect, and then they can possibly consider, enforcing pot. They put it as the single lowest priority. Everything else has to be done first. It's the only way to get them to lay off. So then it became a priority of what are your other priorities, burglary or whatever. And it really cleaned up the cops for a while, and then they've gotten more corrupt again, of course. My pizza made it. I was dying for that. Where's the knife?
Yeah.
I gotta start taping that woman downstairs again. She's screaming like it's the end of the world.
I could hear two women chatting. I don't know if it's her.
It's harder while the air conditioning's on.
Mm.
You're picking on me, Mum, in my own house. How wrong is that? Huh? That's wrong, Astrid. Do you think sorry.
There you go, Lenny. Oh, wait a minute, I'll put it in the Freeman chat. Share.
Don't call the cops. 44 situations where they will no longer respond.
Have you read the situations where they won't respond?
No, I just they listed them. I mean, it says, if you go down oh my God, burglary is not one of them. Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not going to respond to burglary.
Grand Theft Dog.
Grand Theft Dog? What, when you climb inside a dog and run away with it? Come on, Fido!
Burglary, theft, embezzlement, grand theft dog, identity theft, false information to a police officer.
Well, by publishing this, it becomes open season in the city now.
Dump waste or offensive matter, discard appliance with a lock, loud music, possess forged notes, pass fictitious check, obtain money by false voucher, fraudulent use of access cards, stolen license plate, embezzlement, extortion, attempted extortion, false personification, damage to telephone lines, power lines, unauthorized cable TV connections, vandalism, administer or expose poison to someone else. So if you're going to poison somebody, do it now, and Oakland police ain't going to respond.
You can go there and claim you're the Queen of England. It's okay, you know. False personification of another.
Yeah.
All right, open season in Oakland.
Yeah, well, this is NBC Bay Area, so you wouldn't believe it, would you? San Francisco, California.
Well, that's the municipality where they fixed it so that if you want to become a transgender, they'll pay for it. The government will pay for it. If you're a government worker.
Oh, so only if you're a government worker. Yeah. That's not too bad, actually, because you wouldn't believe how many people want to do that.
That's really insane. Why would you want to do that?
I know, but there's loads of people that do it, have it done, and try to have it done, and they have, like, complications from it, and they just blow, like, 20 years of their lives saving up money for it.
Right.
And have these crappy operations that sometimes go wrong and having to totally, uncontrolled. Regardless of it being weird and stupid and stuff. It's something that quite a lot of people do or think about doing.
Well, Stern has interviewed a lot of these on the radio, and they're all angry after they get their penis cut off. They wish they hadn't done it. They were okay until they got that part of it.
Yeah.
America stands on the precipice of total collapse.
Of course it does. Yeah, this is it. We're like a box, a cardboard box. We've been hollowed out, and that's it. This is the end. You can't do the stuff that's been done here now and have the country still stand up. It's going to fall over.
BP is getting ready to use a nuke on the Gulf spill.
I knew that was where it was all going. I mean, when they kept talking about it,
Yeah, an EPF CG device, which is one of these huge, electromagnetic pulse devices.
Oh no!
That's the end of our computers. Yeah.
EMP.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I've been hearing nerds saying about that for like 10, 15 years. EMP. One EMP burst cut out all the computers in the West Coast or something, I think they've been adding a few movies. Well, they tried to avoid putting in movies.
Apparently now they've confirmed that this BP pipe is leaking below the strata and bulging it upwards with methane.
Planet Earth is going to explode from a trapped fart.
I know. Then they'll tax it.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, apparently there's a rift opened up about 20 miles from the wellhead, and the oil is spewing out of there as well. So even if they cap the well, it's still going to be spewing tons and tons of oil, probably even faster.
Yeah.
Into the Gulf.
Well, I think it was on the Alex Jones show. He was saying the actual is it rift or crack underneath the Earth is a lot bigger than they're actually going to say, and it's just you just see like sort of like the visible fault line. The actual fault line, if you can see it from underneath, is huge. It's a lot bigger than it's actually. You just see bits of it. It goes from one side of the continent to the other, basically.
Apparently this rift that's opened up is over 100 feet long and widening, and the
Yeah.
oil and methane is puthering out of this rift.
Yeah, yeah. The actual fault line is hundreds of miles long, though, so
Yeah.
they've got that to look forward to.
So if they use one of these devices there,
Yeah, that's it. I just split the continent in two.
well, not only that, I mean, if it ignites the underground methane,
Yeah.
good grief.
Mhm.
You know, the explosion will be enormous.
Yeah. Just as well, America's like, well, it's alright for you in Barbados because you're right in the middle of it, so you'll get the worst of both worlds.
No,
No, but-
there's- between me and them, there's all the other islands, including the island of Cuba, you know, so...
Alright.
Yeah, it's heading down
The-
your way.
But you see the Atlantic conveyor, commonly called the Gulf Stream, flows up from round the Horn of Africa,
Yeah.
across and up the east coast of South America, and then into the Gulf, gets heated further in the Gulf, and flows round the bottom of Florida and up into the North Atlantic towards Greenland up the American coast, and then shoots across the Atlantic to Britain and Norway and all points north.
So
That's
where
where
is
it-
Barbados? Because I looked at a dodgy map of World, I think it said, and Don Perry saw it as well. On this map, it had Barbados nestled between North and South America, and I was like, I looked at it and I was like, I can't remember it being there.
No. It's not between North and South America. It's off the Venezuelan coast, direct.
Yeah, that's what I remember it as. Yeah, down. Yeah,
We're way south of we're 1,500, 1,800 miles south of the BP rig, easy, if not nearly 2,000 miles south. South and east of it. So
Yeah,
all the trade winds, the southeasterly trade winds, anything on the surface gets blown into the Gulf from here, into the Gulf of Mexico. So all the oil that's in the Gulf of Mexico, it never come down here. It's going to get blown northwards and northeast. So
You don't have Google Earth there, Maggot?
yeah. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, you are kind of. It looks like you're kind of between North and South America, but yeah, this map was a bit. It had like Barbados was like 50 times bigger. It was really weird.
Barbados
Barbados
is a little tiny rock.
I know. I think I pretty much walked it.
My
Yeah, I got some photos
my
of it,
wife used to drive to work 22 miles, and this island is only 21 miles long at its
Yeah.
longest.
Yeah.
21 miles long and 14 miles wide at the widest. It's like a kidney shape, really,
Yeah,
Or a-
yeah, it's tiny.
or a-
Yeah.
or a pear, more like a pear, really, pear shaped.
I think somebody's having a laugh because I did it at search and it had like Barbados was absolutely huge. It was just it was shaped like a turd between North and South America. Don Perry saw it as well, which is strange. So I sent him the link, so I think it's only been having a laugh really. So, is there any actual date for when this the oil catastrophe thing is actually going to like hit full effect, or is it just something that could happen at any time with the methane?
Well, what they're saying is it's already causing a several 100-mile long bubble where the seafloor has risen. It's about 10, 15 miles wide and 100 miles long. The seafloor's risen between 10 and 15 feet because of the methane bubble underneath it.
Yeah.
Well, if that methane is released into the Gulf, all the rigs and all the ships in the Gulf will sink immediately.
Yeah.
Because the water will lose its buoyancy.
But that's it. Ships can't float on methane, basically. Because they won't be resting on water anymore. They'll be resting on methane, and ships can't can't float on methane because it's just gas, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then if they're smoking a cigarette, then it'd be more interesting.
Yeah. If you go directly east from Caracas You
Yeah.
must be about 25 miles south of Barbados when you get far enough out into the Atlantic to get to Barbados. Because we're not really in the Caribbean Sea, actually. We're really in on the Atlantic.
Yeah.
We're the furthest east island in the Caribbean chain.
Not too far from Cuba. I remember on that.
Well, if you look at it, where the BP rig is, it's got to roll over the island of Cuba and Haiti and what have you,
Yeah.
and then all the other islands in between before it gets to Barbados, if there is a tsunami. But it's going to travel. It's got to travel 2,000 miles. It's near enough. I think it's 1,563 miles from Barbados to Miami.
Yeah. So I reckon BP isn't actually, well, it might sound naive, but they're not going to bother fixing this Deep Horizon because they know it's, even if they did plug that cap, whatever, then it's just going to be a waste of time because what they've actually done is they ruptured the fault line.
Yep.
And
The pressure. It's ruptured the pipe and then the leaking. If they cap it, it's going to allow the full. Whatever it's not capped, it's it's allowing the pressure just to escape through the pipe. But as soon as they cap it, it's like dead end in a pipe. It'll just build the pressure in the pipe.
Yeah. No, what I mean is by puncturing the fault line and fiddling around with it with all the drills and stuff, what they've actually done is they ruptured the fault line itself. If you see what I mean, and it's ripping up
the pressure to into the fault line. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, sort of like if you had a knife wound that's healed up, and then somebody's taken a scalpel and go whoop, to knife wound and like cut it open from the inside. Even if it's just over a portion, it can rip open the whole wound.
Again,
yeah. It's only question is, was that the point all along? Was that what they were intending all along? Because I mean, if we can theorise on this and come to those any sort of conclusions, like after like 5 minutes or whatever, looking at it, with them with like 40, hundreds of years experience of this sort of stuff, how can they not know this as well? Because they're given training in it, like gas engineers and stuff. They'll know this stuff.
Well, according to Lindsay Williams, they were trying to replicate this Russian digging situation. That the Russians did this on land and were able to deal with it when it sort of didn't work out. This was an oil speculator. This wasn't BP, and so but they were trying to replicate the Russian thing too, and it didn't work out. And they did the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, it was Halliburton, wasn't it? Who did it in the end?
Something like that.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
That Deep Horizon is not the pumper. That's the driller. And what happens is the pumper is a device, remote controlled. It moves away, and then the driller moves. I mean, that's the driller, and then the pumper moves in after that. That's not the pumper. It's not a pumping problem. This was the drilling problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the drilling was done by Halliburton.
Yeah.
And the pumping
they didn't care.
I
I think that they didn't care what the risk was because if it turned out bad, it's good for them. I mean, it forces radical environmentalism on us.
Well, yeah, and they can also wash their hands of it because it's like they're not the pumpers.
Right.
They're just there to drill a hole. Mm-hmm. There you go. There's one hole. They're all coming out. That's your problem. You asked us to drill a hole.
They wanted oil to come out of it, so
yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
You got oil. Mission accomplished.
Right.
As
Bush said once.
Yes, the fighter pilot ace, extraordinaire, and savior of Iraq. So I guess it's just something that's too big they can even handle anything. That's what I mean. They must have known all along if they had ruptured, if they did tamper around with the fault long enough, then you just open it all up. I mean, it's even been in the public domain as in Superman the movie, as Lex Luthor. His plot to do, I don't know why, but he wanted to destroy the United States, and his plot was to open the fault line in California, I think it was.
Yeah, Superman 1.
Yeah.
Written by Mario Puzo, who knew nothing about Superman.
Yeah, he wrote The Godfathers, the first two, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, he did the first two Superman movies, and he did the Godfather trilogy.
Yeah, and that's about it. I think he
Yeah.
wrote a Christopher Columbus TV movie.
Yeah.
But that's where all the Godfather stories really are, is in the Superman movies.
Yeah.
You know, like in the first movie, you know, when he pulls Kay, even though she's not dressed for the wedding party, Michael pulls her into the picture. She's not Italian.
Mm-hmm.
And they accepted her even though she's not Italian. Well, that's not what really happens. What really happens is what happens to Superman. When he tries to marry the non-Kryptonian, the mother comes back from the dead and takes his powers away. That's what really happens to Michael. His power is taken away.
Oh, poor little Superman.
Yeah.
I know. Why did he bother about Lois anyway?
See, she wasn't Jewish, I guess.
Yeah.
I always think if Superman ever had sex, when he ejaculated, he'd blow her head off.
Right.
Well, that's why he had to have sex with her in that ice castle, because he's so hot. She'd have got so hot she'd have like burnt up. All the body heat,
I guess,
friction.
I don't know.
Yeah, the friction. Yeah.
I still think it'd have blown her head off when he ejaculated.
Oh yeah. I don't think she'd have lived that long. I think he'd have drilled a hole through her.
Talking about Super, yeah.
With his drill bit.
With his pork sword or his porridge pistol.
Well, he's called the Man of Steel, so he'd probably have a steel drill bit as well.
What I can't figure out is, why would a space alien give a crap about America? He's a space alien. You know what I mean?
Because he was born there.
He loves the American way. No, he was born in Krypton. He went into Chandelier. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then the father sent off the criminals in a credit card. What kind of symbolism do we have here?
The Superman series was invented by two Jews who emigrated, to America. He moved to America, and so it was sort of like, but they basically put themselves into the Super Jew.
Right.
So that's what he was. That's why he's like the stranger from another country and all that sort of stuff. That was their basic inspiration. That's why he's called. That's why he got names like Jor-El. Yeah,
he's Kal-El. The father's Jor-El.
That's it. Yeah, Duracell. And even Barack Obama made a joke about it, saying that he's the Black Superman.
Yeah.
He's implying he's a Jew.
Krypton.
Basically. Yeah. Because he said he's a black Superman, and he said my dad, although my dad is Kal-El or something. So he was like not only joking about his birth certificate being fake, he's also implying that he's a Jew. Quite heavily implying he's a Jew.
Well, he lives across the street from a synagogue, and he was supported by them in Chicago the whole time. You know. And then now he's pretending to be against them, and they're all playing along, like the bankers in the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
We're against the Federal Reserve. Of course, they wrote it.
Yeah. Well, if they say they're against the Federal Reserve, they'd be for the Reserve Federal or some other organisation that does say the same thing, just a different name.
A lot of people thought, well, if the bankers are against this, we must be for it, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it got put in during Christmas break, just like the Patriot Act. That's another thing people don't talk about. How could they possibly have had the Congress, a quorum and all that during Christmas vacation for both events?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a funny thing. So I did that in one of the blogs on MySpace. I posted a link to this video called Superman. Oh, what is it? Here Come Superheroes or something. I've got it somewhere. Spider-Man. Wait a minute. Once Upon a Time, the Superheroes. Yeah, that's it. I got it for Poundland, so it cost me £1, and it was it's like a 2 or 3 hour documentary on the history of Superman. And it's got loads of exclusive stuff, and it's got exclusive interviews with Stan Lee in it, and it's got...
What's the name of it?
It's called Spider-Man. Once Upon a Time, the superheroes. Yeah, Once Upon a Time, the superheroes. Spider-Man.
Once Upon a Time Superheroes Collection?
Could be that one. If you got a post a link to it, and I'll tell you if it's right. Yeah, even though it's got Superman in it. I only remember the Superman bits. I can't remember that much about Spider-Man, but Superman's in it quite a bit.
I pasted it.
That's the one. Yeah, Spider-Man. Once Upon a Time. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got information from, was about the two Jews who wrote about it.
Wow, I've heard people refer to that, but I didn't have the documentary. That must be it.
Yeah. So sort of interesting because it's like the Wachowski brothers as well, because they're two brothers that supposedly wrote The Matrix. Well, they're the two guys who supposedly wrote The Matrix, aren't they? And then now Sophia Stewart is saying that she wrote The Matrix.
Right. I really think she might have done it.
Yeah, we were saying that she thinks she might have written the first one, but they might have written the second two or something.
And yeah, because the second two, suddenly it's Zion and all this.
Yeah.
That really killed me. I couldn't. I turned it off when I heard that they were going to Zion.
It's really not that difficult to write the second. You know, the first part's the most difficult part. Once you've written that, then it's not that difficult to carry on, because the first part you've got to set up all the characters. Like in the first one, they set up most of all the main characters anyway, and suspension of disbelief. You've got to make it believable, and you just got to basically write the whole story, and then the second two parts should pretty much write themselves. But that's the way they wrote it anyway. They didn't really introduce anything new in the second or third part, really. It was a bit of a disappointment. It was more like Return to the Matrix, almost, felt like. So if you watch The Matrix, the first one, if you watch that closely, he's done pretty much everything anyway. Even having a message to the world at the end, telling everybody in the world to wake up, even though it was a bit crap, like a phone call to one person. But that was like the money ran out or something. And what that should have been is like a live broadcast, 24 hours a day or something, like a like truth movement sort of message, ordering people to wake up, telling them that the world's an illusion, all that sort of stuff, and it'd been uninterruptible, like a pirate TV.
But her story also incorporated the Terminator.
Yeah.
They broke it up somehow.
Yeah. She did like is it 6-part or 9-part Super Saga or something, and it had like the Terminators in it and Neo's in it and everybody else was in it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they invented Trinity. I think it was just Neo.
Trinity served no useful purpose.
Yeah.
She was awful. She just what was she there for? Where did she come from?
So that she could be a woman that flew. They had to throw that in there.
She was the romantic element.
Yeah. That doesn't go anywhere.
No, she was just there so he could have sex with her, so he'd feel emotionally attached to her, so that he'd feel depressed when she died at the end, and they'd say so he joined the machine like the machine wanted to in the first place, because the machine would have introduced Trinity into the Matrix in the first place, because he didn't find out where she came from.
Right.
You got no logic, Neo. You're a fucking slave. It's like when you break it down, it's just really annoying, because he never thinks things through, and he never thinks at all. He just always just obeys. He obeys all the way through. That's why he's a level of the grunt or something in the Matrix, really.
I mean, why would you take? Okay, let's say you don't want to go along with the deal. Why take the other pill?
Why take either pill? A stranger offers you pills in a strange room in a strange world. Which pill do you take? Well, why should you take any pill? I mean, what happens if you don't take those pills? Can't you just carry on with your life? Oh no, but you have no life apart from me, and now I shall hypnotise you.
Right.
See, that's why he's wearing glasses all the way through. I thought they were all on drugs. That's why they were his glasses.
Probably.
Yeah.
I just went out. It's hard to find stuff unless you have exactly the right description.
What are you looking for?
That video.
Yeah. Oh, you need this description of the actual contents, or what?
No, the way that it's worded, the name.
Oh, you got it on the cover.
Yeah, I know.
It makes no sense in English. I know. Once upon a time, the superheroes with no commas or anything.
This downloading is really kind of a groupthink thing, just like the 9/11 Truth Research was starting in 2002, where people really do assume you have everything, and I do. So this new stuff is new stuff, that's out now, and the old stuff is not available anymore. They assume you already have it. So what do people who are starting late get? They don't get the good stuff.
The video I mentioned is one obviously that fell through the cracks. Yeah, I mentioned it years ago. Obviously, nobody's picked up on it. I think it might be the Spider-Man Once Upon a Time superheroes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why you can't find it. It just fell through the cracks or got deleted or removed or something.
It's unavailable even on Amazon.
No.
Amazon's really great because you go to the page of whatever book it is, and then there's always a used section for the same book, and then it's like $1.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got every one of the Tex Mars books for literally a penny or something. And it costs more to ship it. Like all the old ones that are out of print.
Yeah.
But I really wonder his old textbooks when he published for Prentice Hall and all that from before his period of this. I'd really like to get that. But I have all of his conspiracy books. They're fantastic with references at the end and everything. The whole chapter of references at the end of each one of his books is worth the price of the book. I mean, it's just, you can't believe it. I've often bought books just reading through the bibliography, and they're incredibly educational too. That's how I really understood Agenda 21 and sustainable development and all this stuff. That's really, really crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I read about it thinking, well, that's really crazy. They can't pin everything on environmentalism, and then they did.
Mm-hmm. But you got no choice now, have you?
Losing that Copenhagen thing was really the end of the world for these people. And they really think they're going to get it back here in this Mexico thing coming up. I think it's happening now. There's a Mexico conference on climate change. They think they're going to get the Copenhagen deal signed then, which is a world government based on environmentalism.
They've forced everybody's hand now with this oil leak, though.
Yeah.
Got any choice.
Isn't that convenient? It's going to be the conference is going to be in Mexico. Yeah, great. That'll convince them.
Mm-hmm. Just complete coincidence.
Reason, yeah. There you go. Case closed. Because they lost peak oil too. They deserve to lose all these things. They're not true.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's some more news for you guys, just to cheer you up. I think it's time for a cup of tea. Are we still broadcasting and recording?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up. It's about 4 now.
Yes, 3:55 according to my time. Yeah, it's there's a report here how the BP Gulf disaster may have triggered a world-killing event.
Yay!
Again, they're lying because it's 250 million years ago. That's not, I don't think we've been here that long.
No.
You're talking about the current one? Yeah, the current one.
Yeah, the current one. Yeah, if there is a methane bubble and it bursts free, it could cause massive explosions anywhere on the planet as it drifts around and deposits its water and then becomes a viable gas mixing with the atmosphere. Wallop. Any little spark can set it off. Lots of people say, but the methane is frozen in crystalline form. Then
crystals as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but then people point out, unfortunately, this deep oil that's coming out of the abiotic oil, because it's so close to the magma, it's coming out at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that any crystalline methane it comes up against will instantly get turned into a gaseous.
Right, we get right to the magma and melt it all down.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of funny because of the crystals, and Superman was born after the crystal planet exploded.
Right.
Yeah.
So Krypton was made of. Might have been a volcanic eruption that destroyed the planet as well.
Swap that line. The chop is already on for 4233104. It's just that line wants swapping onto.
Yeah, he knows that we need it swapping, but somebody needs to go speak to the poor lad.
Where is he?
In the shop.
Tell him to come in.
No, I don't want to sit down.
I'm not sitting on it. You're fucking sure. Right.
He doesn't want you.
Well, we'll wrap it up. This has been American Freeman on the American Freeman Network.
Help the dogs get me!
You've heard your hosts, the Caribbean Critic, Don is AWOL.
Oh no!
Of course, we have Maggot, the wonderful Maggot, and I'm your responsible party of Stratius Team Radius. You can hear our show at tinyurl.com/WFS podcast. We're on TalkShoe. And that's about it. Anything else, Maggot?
No, that's it.
All right. I'll take us off the air.